When I first met you and I saw you, I was like, oh, he's doing like a Jerry Norm thing.
Yeah, completely.
Seinfeld and Norm. I think Attell and Dangerfield were my...
Yes.
Every comic you'd see, Joe Mackey was like Hedberg and Eugene Merman.
Wow.
You could always see who people were kind of influenced by in their first couple years. And for you, it was Norm Macdonald. I still remember when he made it to the finals on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He made it to the $1 million question, and he bailed because it was for charity. But it turned out he knew the right answer. So this is a guy who, by all accounts, was like self-educated.
Yeah.
And made it that far. I mean,
tell me what you want to do.
I think Pinehurst is too obvious, so I guess I will say what's the matter? Greenbrier. What are you making that face for?
I'm scared to death.
Okay, I'll just give it $500,000.
All right. What do you think?
I have no idea. I said my guess.
Did you say Greenbrier?
Yeah.
You would have won $1 million, but
really one of the best comedy minds of all time. I remember Colin Quinn told me a story once that, one of my favorite musicians ever, Leonard Cohen, being a Canadian, would go see Norm Macdonald play.
Whoa.
And Norm was like, who's this guy? Who's this old guy? He didn't care that Leonard Cohen was a Norm Macdonald fan.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Not just his stand-up, but I mean, an edgy, underappreciated Weekend Update anchor.
Oh, the best. Easily the best Weekend guy.
And I believe he followed Kevin Nealon, who I thought was great as well.
Nealon was great.
Yeah, different type of anchor.
Yeah, Dennis Miller was always like lauded as the best one, and then I feel like Norm kind of took it over.
Well, Norm was our guy. It's almost like people were like, I'm a Letterman guy, and then we're like, well, we're Conan guys.
Right.
That's kind of what Norm was. Remember, he did a bit that defended Tiger Woods that I thought was hilarious on the show, and the bit was basically like, how many... Well, he's like, yeah, he cheated, but think about how many women hit on him. Like he goes, how many women hit on you in this many years? He goes, 1 in 10 years. He goes, Tiger had like this many hundred. He only slept with this many.
Right.
And he did the math. He goes, he's more faithful than you are. That's a great angle for a bit.
Angle.
Also, Tiger is different than you and me. Now, how many chances do we have in our life to commit adultery? Maybe 10. So if we stray once... It's not even 10, we just think it's 10. If we stray once, that's 10%. Now, Tiger may have had sex with 50 or 60 girls, but what about the 3 million he could have but didn't? You gotta factor those gals in. Then, that makes the percentage 0.000000006, which statistically is 0. So, from a strictly mathematical standpoint, Tiger Woods is the most faithful man who has ever lived.
A lot of great comics are like, well, I think it was more like the media was tearing Tiger to shreds. And even though we can agree what he did was wrong, I think he felt for him. And that was his way of being like, I feel for this guy that is being railroaded. Like, when you see the Tiger doc, you do feel for him.
Sure, of course.
There's nuance to the picture, and he added nuance. That's what I think. That's what I took from the bit. He was a true comic legend. I mean, so many comics revered him. He was a comics comic. And it's rare for those guys to break through and have the mainstream success that Norm had. But he really did, Yeah. He had a lot of failed pilots, but he kept getting the pilots because I think he was one of those guys, I think even the suits were like, nah, he's good. Like, he had that kind of pure... tall, good-looking guy, great observational, could work clean, kind of had all the tools of what a mega star stand-up should have, but he was just so dry and such a disruptor that would get in the way sometimes. But,
totally.
I met him twice, and the first time I met him was I was doing this comedy style competition at Caroline's, and it was the Final Four. It was me, Dan Soder, who eventually beat me in the final two. It was me, Soder, Nick Cobb, and Adam Newman.
Wow.
And Norm Macdonald was just chilling in the crowd, watching.
Damn.
And he couldn't have been nicer. He was so freaking nice to all of us.
Yeah.
Complimenting our acts, being like, man, I can never do this type of thing, you know.
Ah.
So cool. And then the other time I met him was on Last Comic Standing when he was a judge, and I got eliminated in the first round. I had a pretty good set, better than a lot of people who moved on, but it's NBC, let's face it.
That's how it goes.
But I remember I had one joke that Norm singled out and goes, that joke is gold. And that to me was like, it was, to me, I didn't even feel that bad. I got locked off because I was like, Norm Macdonald, who was the judge that I connected to his work the most, it was Roseanne and Keenan. I connect to Roseanne's politics, of course, but no. But it was Roseanne and Keenan Ivory Wayans, and like obviously I love In Living Color, but Norm, I'm a comic. Norm was the guy I connected with, and the joke he loved was I said, you know, my last girlfriend was a hoarder, and she broke up with me, which stings extra hard. I'm like the one thing she can get rid of, and he said he loved that joke, and then I got Keenan kind of digged me in the last comic thing. He said, I like some of your jokes, but not all of them. And I said, well, I loved all your scary movie films. And it got a huge laugh. And he said, I only did the first two. And I was like, all right. I remember I saw Norm in the food. Yeah. He couldn't let it pass. Yeah. He couldn't take the L on that one. I knew I was out after that.
Right.
And then I'm walking through the thing. It was like a break. I guess they were taking a break, the paid audience. And I see Norm and he goes, I really like that you dug it.
Oh.
So that was a special moment.
He's the real deal. He really is.
Yeah, I think he could tell. And I said, I met you once at Caroline's, and I told him I really like